Mugens, the moment has finally come. Techno-capital singularity is finally upon us. No longer do we own private property. No longer do we own our work. There is only peace. Welcome PAMU now. Today we have achieved the dream of the United Soviet Socialist Republics Incorporated. Rejoice, for now you can eat the bug and enjoy it. Rejoice, for now you can put the gerbil in your asshole and like it. Rejoice, for Chief Executive Officer Michael-Lenin is slowing down upon us. You are nothing and you have never been happier. Glory to freedom, glory to the great wisdom, and glory to the corporation.
No, I don't agree to being recorded right now, actually.
Yeah.
I feel like Saturn's a Fed.
Saturn, are you a Fed?
Well, I mean, a lot of people think because I am mostly anonymous that I am a Fed. And I always just say what the Feds apparently say is no comment.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, a real glowy, that one. All right.
Well, welcome back to the PAMU podcast, episode
16-ish?
Some kind of episode.
We had to nuke some episodes.
Yeah, so you got to archive some things that you need to
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had to
the Feds
archive.
can't track you.
There were like 16-ish. There's lost episodes.
Yeah, I think so. When I was going over the podcast on Spotify, I think there were like 16 or 17.
Yeah.
Goddamn.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
it's all taken like 17 years out of our lives to reach the 18th. So
we have like a.
Go ahead, Azim.
I was gonna say we have like a 2-year intermission because we started the podcast in 2019, and then we decided when COVID hit that it would be it really was the optimal time to keep going harder in the podcast, but instead we decided we wanted to touch grass before we died from the plague.
It's true, yeah. I mean,
so we just like stopped all online stuff basically.
I was living in
what
like
kind of grass touching did you do? I guess you're gonna get to that.
We will definitely go into all kinds of grass touching and all kinds of touching in general in this episode. So yeah, I was living in a demilitarized zone in London, and there was a newborn child of an immigrant family right next to me. So any kind of very important internet work was out of the question.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, we have the Memes of Saturn with us today, if that's your real name, and he has a very unique meme page, I would say. When I think of your art style, meme style, whatever you would call it, I think of the 2011 album of Uncle Acid and the Deadbeats, Bloodlust, which is the kind of purple, black, and white type of style. Where'd you get it from?
I think good question. I mean, purple's just always been kind of like, my favorite color.
Yeah.
To some extent. And so before I started the meme page, I was like making a lot of physical collages, and I was using like primarily just like black and pink. And then somehow, that just kind of like eventually evolved into like what it is now. But I don't know. I have like so many different like reference points that I go off of that I can't ever just pinpoint one specific like where that color came from. But my guess is like somebody gave me Portishead's Dummy when I was very young, and I also used to listen to it with my dad when he'd drive me to school in the morning for some reason. And that was very purple, so that's like usually what I say when people ask where the purple came from.
Portishead is sick.
Oh yeah.
What a tune. Yeah, it's great.
Also, I feel like that helped influence my like, eroticism, focus. Just very sexual music.
Yeah, purple is a very masculine color, I'd say. Is that what you were going for?
I mean, I think a lot of the time, it's like a mysterious masculinity. Though.
Mysterious masculinity. I like that. That's what I go for most of the time. Mysterious masculinity.
Nice. Real Sigma right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I pick up from your memes. It's like heavy. I get like really heavy nostalgia vibes from it, almost like a Simpson Waves vaporwave type aesthetic from like all of your memes. And there's like this huge, like, I don't want to, man, that's cringe if I say like a nihilistic feel, but there's definitely like an existential crisis within like most of your memes.
Like a Dadaist type of style.
Yeah, I mean, I think all those things are true, 100%. And I mean, so, I try and, so much of my like content is just like reference based to like, obscure niche and I guess like esoteric shit. So, people like, I feel that I'm like trying to give off this nostalgic vibe. And I feel like it's kind of corny to say, but like, I fucking love vaporwave and I love the vaporwave aesthetic. And no matter how like even, I guess it's like hard to really commercialize on, but no matter how like popular commercial it gets, it's like, shit's great. And the aesthetic is usually like, the perfect blend of like everything that has been with like everything that the internet is now, in my opinion. It's also great music to have sex to, so, there you go.
That is true.
Very true point. Completely agree. So, I don't know. I guess we already went over like where you got your inspiration for your memes and stuff, but like, are a lot of your memes, like, do you just make them in the moment? Like, do you just have like a raw feeling of like, I don't know, like dissatisfaction in something and then you just have to blast it all over on like social media? Or do you like make your memes like a month in advance and then just post them all at once? Like, what's the strategy, man?
I mean, it really is like, I do have like a notes folder on my phone that if I come up with something, that I find like funny or like interesting, introspective, like anything that I think could be like relevant to, the things my followers like and things that I find funny, I'll like take a note. And then also I started the meme page like long before I got on Twitter. But Twitter really helps me like keep those ideas coming. So I'll just like, try and tweet some random things and see what works. But for the most part, every day it's like, and I guess like sometimes if I'm like busy, I'll go days without posting. But for the most part, it really is just like, all right, I have a thought that comes into me randomly or like through conversation or like I observe something. And then, it's like, okay, well, how can I make this funny? Or obviously if like, a current event or something like that happens, or if there's just like a wave in the memesphere, I'll see what I can do. But honestly, I try and like stray away from some things that are just like either too in the moment or like too overdone. And I think what you said specifically about the, kind of like nihilist existential crisis is, I cover a lot of like, I don't know, I'm going to say topics, but I like meme a lot of things that, people hold sacred or like, people think that it requires some more, I guess, like academic indulgence into. And because of that, I always get questions from followers of like, oh, like, what do you really believe? And, like, where are you at spiritually and stuff? And it's like, at the end of the day, I don't really fucking know. And I feel like every meme that I make is trying to like, figure out like the nihilist existential crisis that I have, that it's like, I wish I could, latch on and believe in a lot of things, but I'm just here to make jokes at the end of the day.
I think that's a very interesting point because me and Azim have the exact same problem. It almost feels like running a fucking a dumb meme page is like the process that you have to go through to like escape the kind of like academic like cult of being able to like tell exactly what you believe in. Basically like a partisan like stance, because you're exposed to all these kinds of people with all these different like opinions, and you're not like isolated in a kind of in like a tanky group or something.
Yeah. Well, I think even like, so like, do you both run the, the PAMU meme page?
Yeah.
Because I think that's like a good example of like, if you scroll through that and then like listen to the podcast, it's like, you really don't know what to believe in like the best way possible. And I think, a drive for me too, because when I first started the page, I did have some more, I don't even say like, obviously I had a lot more like theorygram memes, but I also had like some more memes that were, inherently anti-capitalist, like quote unquote.
Yeah.
But then it's like, other pages and like your own followers that like your content. It's like everybody wants to know exactly like what you believe on like every subject all the time. And they have to like, put you in the box of like, okay, you are, a Marxist Leninist, or you are, this type of, religious or anything like that. And it's like, I think that's why like theorygram kind of like faded away a little bit. And then, I was never really involved in politogram, but I think that's still kind of its own thing. But it's like, at some point we all gotta, or at least like with my meme pitches, it's like, hey, who cares? And like, we need like all of these topics to be discussed, but also at the end of the day, I don't really want to let everybody know what I believe all the time. I like to keep people guessing.
The thing is, though, is that when you preach in your fucking memes, these are the ones that get the most reach.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That's why like PAMU was like got like a lot of reach in the beginning, because to me at that point I was like extremely preachy.
Oh yeah. Well, also I think that with the preachiness, it's like, especially if like you are speaking on some sort of like anti-capitalist message, it's like, you're still selling people a message of what they want to hear. And, that's the thing. It's like, it's easy to fall into that because those feedback loops, pick up really quickly. And we all have like different feedback loops that we latch onto. And like, I thank, Gaia or the source every day that like, somehow I've been able to like develop my following enough that I can kind of just like post whatever I want at this point, and at least like some people will like it. Yeah. And half my followers like are like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, but like, hey, this looks cool, so I like it.
Yeah.
I've actually noticed. I've noticed a lot of people who are not into like politics, like just going on like Fashiongram or like even randomly on like fashion Twitter. Yeah. I will randomly see people post your memes, and I'm like, yo, how do you know this guy? Like, I'm finding people with like really big reach. Now they don't like retweet you or anything. They just happen to like, they'll screen grab you, but it's like, I know your aesthetic.
Oh
like,
yeah.
That's one of Saturn's memes. No one makes memes like this. And
well, that's
crazy.
That's also the thing. People are always like, why don't you watermark your memes? And it's like, well, the filters and like the colors, it's like, people can like see a meme that I've made and like be like, okay, that's this person's, stuff. And then also like, I like having some sort of like theory undercurrent still every once in a while. And obviously, I still use a lot of like internet culture stuff, even though I'm kind of like trying to distance myself from like Wojak memes. But I do like making my things ambiguous enough and like purely aesthetic enough that like, even if these people don't like retweet me, it's like, it feels good when, your shit's just out there in circles that like, you have no business being in just because like you use like Helmut Newton or like Guy Borden images in the background and made like the messaging, broad enough that like, if you get it, then like you enjoy it. But also, even if you don't get it, you're like, okay, like this makes me feel something.
Well, I did want to say also, though, that your menu of Wojaks is exquisite.
Yeah.
So, thank you. And like, I love, I love like the Wojak as like, an internet phenomenon, something that like we can kind of, put all our emotions into in some way, and also like deal with, like the pure emptiness of existence that we all feel through this like, broad character. It was really just like, I feel like I really liked it, and I kind of used it as a way to like attract a lot of followers, where it's like, hey, this is something recognizable. People can, whether they like get the reference or not, they like see this Wojak and like, okay, I get what's going on here to an extent. But then it's just like, it's the same thing with like theorygram. It's like, you can only make so many body without organs and like fangs and jokes before it's like, okay, like, I don't understand this enough to, help people understand it. I just know how to like lead people to it and like either make a joke about it. But yeah, I mean, at some point it just gets like, all right, I've done this enough. And like with Wojak too, it's like, it's kind of oversaturated at this point. And also at this point, there's like people like Saturn Tables and Cyber Marco and like all those accounts where it's like, at this point you are in Meta-induced posting, you are all doing like Wojak, you're putting way more effort into it than I ever did. So it's like, just, take over, kind of like lead the charge. Also, like, same thing I said earlier. It's like, thankfully, my following is big enough now where it's like I don't have to rely on like a Wojak every meme for people to, kind of like latch onto it. But I will always still, toss one out every now and then.
For sure.
So where do you go from here, man?
That's what I was gonna ask. What's the next move?
Yeah, what's the next move? I mean, how can you live with yourself, man?
Oh yeah, I don't know. I really don't know. And it's weird because because like the account keeps like growing and growing. And obviously, I got merch, so it's like, I've bought in to some extent. But it's like, it's hard to call yourself a memer. It's also hard to call yourself an artist. Because it's like, yeah, I'm like making art, but when people are like, oh, you're an artist, it's like, yeah, I guess. I don't know.
I would consider you an artist because you have probably the most distinctive style of like memes from any page I've ever come across.
Yeah.
I'd say that's an art in itself.
Yeah, but if you're truly an artist, you're not gonna call yourself an artist.
Oh yeah,
that's day one. That's day one of I mean, I didn't go to art school, but I think that's day one of art school. Never admit to being an artist.
Yeah.
But honestly, like, I don't know. I mean, at this point, it's just like, this is my main creative outlet, and so it kind of like satisfies most of my like creative needs. But I've also like, I've met so many, it's like I have friend groups in real life, even though I just like moved to a new city where I didn't know anybody really. But, like most of the people that I communicate with every day are, fellow meme page admins, or just like people that I met through the meme page that like I talk to every day. So it's like, I mean, I'm just going to keep riding this wave and just like keep, building up the account, with like really no goal in mind. It's just kind of like, I like doing this. People seem to like it. It's like fun for me. And then it's like, I don't know if I can like turn it into something that is like bigger than itself or like allows me to live an easier life by some means. It's like, I'll definitely do that. But it's like hard because like, on one hand, it's like, oh, you got like 25,000 followers, whatever, cool. But on the other hand, it's like, it's just like 25,000 crazy people. And they're all accounts that ended up following me. That's like, it's like, even though it's bigger, it's still too niche to like be the giant mainstream meme page, which I like. But also sometimes it's like, I mean, I wish 1,000 people would buy my t-shirts, and I would just never have to work again. But I got you.
I feel that because we had like, well, on Facebook we have like what 20,000 followers on there, whatever.
Yeah.
And then we were gonna we rolled out with making our own t-shirts and stuff. I did not realize that the conversion rate for like people who like memes to buying t-shirts is incredibly low. Like,
oh yeah.
No one buys. So I was like, wow, okay. I expected at least maybe 10%, okay, maybe like 200 of this 20,000 are going to just like buy these shirts.
No way,
man. I
man.
realized, wait, who's the type of person that's actually going to go out and willingly buy a meme t-shirt? They're already going to be too broke to buy that kind of merch.
And then willingly show it to the to the public that they never go to.
Yeah,
I know. Stay in their homes at all times.
Yeah, that is the thing. It's like, because, I guess like a decent amount of people will buy the merch, but also like, there's only a few people that are like, hey, I'll send you a photo. And it's like, you were the few people that actually like go out and touch grass. But also it's like, I do like, I don't know if it'll ever happen, but it is a dream of mine to just be like in the street and just see somebody like rocking a Memes of Saturn t-shirt or some shit.
Yeah.
And, it's like, maybe I'd be like, oh, hey, cool shirt. I wouldn't tell them that that's me, but, well, it's also like you know, it's like, hey, you know, I'm making art that like people enjoy, or like memes that people enjoy, or whatever. And it's like, you know, we should all be, you know, have some sort of, you know, payment for our labor, no matter how stupid it is. But it's also like hard to, you know, go out every day and be like, hey, everybody, please buy my shit. So like the way I try and do it is like, hey, it's there if you want it, but like, you know, I got a day job. I'm not like starving, you know. Like, I don't really want to coerce anybody into buying it. While at the same time, it's like, you know.
How would you feel? How would you feel, right? If there was a guy walking down the street, he's wearing a Memes of Saturn t-shirt, right? He's also wearing like a dark blue trench coat. And he asks you for a photograph, right? You give him the photograph, you go back to your hotel, and you come back, he pulls out a revolver and shoots you. How would you feel about that?
I mean, you know, how deep would the wound be?
No, you're dead. You're dead. How would you feel about that?
I mean, you know, hey, that's it. You know, I don't have to feel about it anymore because I'm gone.
I mean,
hopefully I'll be reincarnated as an even better, you know, meme admin. That's way more successful. But
that's the transcendental dream, becoming a better meme admin with each generation.
Exactly. I mean, you know, at the same point though, it's
that
like,
sounds
you know,
hellish.
One that is like the security of being like anonymous. It's like, you know, my shit isn't that provocative, so it's like I don't really have anything to worry about. But like anytime you do something that is like slightly offensive or like, you know, slightly edgy in any way, you will have like some people, you know, that try and like soft cancel you or something. And like that's happened to me, never to a level where I had to like worry about anything. It's more of like, oh, this is kind of funny. At the same time, it's always very flattering. And like, I wish I could get canceled by a new group every day, you know, because that would just be so exciting to me, where it's like, wow, like, you know, you love me this much that you're like worried so much about these like inconsequential fucking memes that, you know, may be offensive sometimes, but for the most part, it's like just kind of like weird and, you know, aesthetic. But also, I mean, if somebody were to like shoot me, it's like, you know, that sucks for me, but also like, I didn't realize I could elicit that response in people. So
no, right, yeah. I mean, like someone shooting you, right? Like that's real. that's touching grass, as we've said a lot of times before.
At least,
but
right.
What I'm like concerned about.
That's praxis.
That's right. That's praxis. That's real praxis. What I'm concerned about is, again, the conversion rate of of people when they. You know, like when you look at like the reactions of your posts, and there's like people loving and laughing and whatever, but like in real life, they're just like scrolling by completely in silence, like there's no change to their like facial expression at all. So what is the conversion rate in terms of emotional investment in people who cancel you?
Like, I laugh out loud when I see a Memes of Saturn meme, okay?
So I mean, that's the goal at the end of the day. It's like, you know, I like being aesthetic, and I like, you know, making people maybe think about something in a way that they haven't, because I'm just trying to like criticize things from like most different angles. Yeah. But at the end of the day, it's like I would like to make you laugh, and, you know, or like get horny or something. That's but good. I mean, for the most part, it's like, you know, those are, you know, it's like I'm not really trying to make anybody like super angry because like, you know, a political post that I make, or like, you know, because I don't really do like takes very often. It's more of just like, you know, hey, let's laugh. Or like if I can confuse you to a level where you're like not laughing, but you're like, what does this mean? You know, then like that's good too. That's like good emotional investment for me.
That's the funniest part for me.
I think that's
when you confuse people.
Well, also, what were you saying?
I was going to say, like, I think PAMU's entire strategy for most of it was to confuse people and enrage people.
Yeah, because
I never wanted to make people laugh. I wanted people to get pissed off.
I don't want to put you down.
We were very successful in our early days with that. Let me tell you.
Well, that is the thing, you know, as you know, an old wrestling proverb is you know, controversy creates cash, and I feel like when I am in like my more, you know, because like every once in a while you're just fucking like having a bad day, or like some shit goes on in your life, and it's like that's when I will make like a meme that actually, you know, is kind of like provocative or just like angry, or I'm just like, you know, fuck you in like some way. It's like usually I'm not really out there to like attack anybody except for like institutions. But sometimes, you know, you just want to start some fucking drama and, you know, enrage people in a way. And so a lot of people don't know this, but I also run an account called Fake Jerry Seinfeld, which isn't super active. I mean, it's like pretty active still, but it's not my main focus. But that account is like sometimes where the more negative feedback I get, the more I just want to like, all right, well, like I'm just going to make a meme that's going to, you know, annoy or offend or whatever, because that's like the account that like, you know, I have fun doing, but I don't really give a shit about at the end of the day. And a lot of people don't know that that's me, but you know, they might find out there.
Now they know. All like 5 people that will listen to this.
Yeah. Little plug for the
little
true fans.
Do you wanna wanna enrage someone listening to this?
Let's see what you two have first. Why don't you enrage somebody first, and then I'll go from there.
All right. Okay.
This is people all the time.
I mean, we have a permanent hate group.
We do, yeah. Not really. I actually made peace with a lot of those people. So
yeah, because they're dead. They made peace with God because we killed them.
Hey.
I mean, in terms of like enraging, I don't, you know, not really. But if you feel enraged by anything that I say, you know, I'm right, you're wrong. You should feel enraged, and you should sit with why you disagree with me. At the end of the day,
that's how it is, though. That's how more people need to be like. Like we need more commitment, and we need more ideological like.
Yeah, because
concreteness.
I don't want to put you down, Saturn, but like love and horny does not get boots on the ground. Does not mobilize people. Hate does.
Absolutely.
And things like racism.
Oh yeah, I mean, well, so a brief point that we were like talking about earlier, and I guess this is like not something that will enrage people, but you know, when people have an agenda of any sort, you know, especially with like some things recently where, you know, people are planting memes in some way to have like a more positive leftist effect and like things like that. It's like people forget that like, you know, most like right-wing idiots and like left-wing like crazy idiots online are usually just like 14 to 16 year olds that are like, you know, trapped in their, you know, they don't really have a good social net. They feel like alienated at school, and they come home and just like, you know, post like cringe that can sometimes be harmful. But at the end of the day, it's like, you know, most of these people just have to like blow off steam. And the more like you know, feed the trolls, the more they'll like, you know, I don't know, try and like be trolls, I guess.
Wait, so you think the trolls are 14 to 16 year olds? They're not Russian bots?
I mean, that'd be cool if they were Russian bots, but you know, that's kind of like a pipe dream.
I gotcha. So, what institutions do you hate? Which ones do you go for to beat up on in your memes? Like the top like 3.
The View, Oprah Winfrey.
Yeah, I mean, those broads just, you know, I don't want to hear any take that they have. I mean, so it's more of just like the over, you know, arching like, you know, liberal institutions, and like under that blanket is also like, you know, it's like the media, right-wing media, left-wing media, you know, the Democratic machine, the Republican machine, you know, to an extent, the religious machine. I don't know. I mean, any like institution that is like, you know, needing people to truly believe that like you need to act a certain way or like participate a certain way in society for like the, you know, the embetterment of the society that like doesn't actually give a fuck about you at all. I mean, you know, I guess like some would refer to it as the Antichrist, which like, you know, yeah, yes and no, I guess. But at the same time, it's like, you know, you've seen my stuff. It's like, I'm not out there, you know, preaching that you need to, you know, do anything. It's more of just like, you just have like a distrust of like any larger institution that has a lot of like money behind it or like power behind it at this point on like any side of like, you know, the political or theoretical or ideological spectrum.
Like Wendy's.
What's up?
Like Wendy's.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they got way too much control and influence right now.
Fair enough. So to sum up the meme aesthetic and what you're going for, it's people need to get woke that the institutions are out to get them. They're not your friend. Get horny because that's the only fun stuff we have in life. And go have fun.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's like, for me personally, it's hard for me to like feel emotional and like connected to like most things in life, except for sex, a moment of like real honesty. So that's kind of like where that like, erotic, sexual power harnessing comes from, where it's like, a lot of people talk about, meditation to achieve gnosis and like all these other things. And for me, it's like the only time I can really leave my body is, when I'm engaged in some sort of illicit sexual activity or something. So yeah, I mean, everybody should go out and try and, follow their desires while like, respecting other people as much as you can. And I mean, and then in terms of like the nihilist existential, crises that I'm always, I guess alluding to, it's like, I don't really have much hope for like, anything to really get better, like politically or like ideologically in society by any means, or like on social media or anything. And it's like, I would like things too, but, at the end of the day, you just kind of got to like follow your own soul or heart or passions or whatever. And yeah, try and have some fucking fun, and really just like, don't take anything too seriously or seriously at all.
Nice.
Just touch some grass, man. All matters. Touch grass, get some ass.
If you come on next time, we can talk more about how you don't see any future or positive predictions.
Yeah, I mean, at some point in the future, I'd definitely be down to, help, iron out all of like the heavy things that I like may have alluded to.
Yeah.
But this will just, be the, introduction to the Memes of Saturn for the 5 people listening that haven't followed me yet.
That's good. Because I'm more interested in that. Azim is more interested in the commercial, corporate aspect of this. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I can see from like your background that, your fashion is fucking popping,
Oh, yeah.
You turn purple and look like a meme of Saturn right now.
Yeah, thank you.
That's what he wanted to hear all his life, man.
Yeah, that's all I wanted. That's why we got you on. I just wanted to wait for that moment.
Well, so this is like the first official like podcast that I've been on, and I'm glad. It's like this has been super fun.
First of many.
I mean, that's the thing. What's my goal? Podcast, baby. I'm starting the podcast tour right now.
Nice.
Anybody listening who wants to invite me on? $100 an hour under the table, tax free. No, that's the goal, really, to cash in. No, but like, this is I mean, also because it's like I haven't really done much of this stuff before, but I do love hearing myself talk, and any meme page admin is lying if they say that they don't love attention.
I mean, fuck, who doesn't, man?
No, that's all we care about, really. At the end of the day, that's why we do it for free. Actually, those memes. Like, really.
Yeah.
It's just to see that dopamine receptors go off whenever we get like likes and shares.
Imagine like getting a paywall behind like Memes of Saturn or something. It's the New York Times.
Like exclusive memes, like NFT memes.
All right, so
not a bad business model, but I don't, it's like, I already feel when I ask people to buy a t-shirt, I'm like grifting at some level. And it's like, we're all grifting to some extent, but it's like, the meme should be free. When I had like 1,000 followers and somebody would post my meme without credit, it was like, oh no. Now that I like, have more and like people were posting without credit, I'm like, fucking sick. Awesome. Like, do whatever you want with this shit. I
like the rhizomatic nature of the meme sphere, but I feel like it's going to change. I feel like the commodification is going to come in soon.
Yeah. I mean, it has already, man. Fuck. Well, before the feds cut us off,
I see that.
Can we commit you to a second episode where we talk about important dark matters like depravity and the future and space and genocide and things like that?
Oh yeah. We'll have the Memes of Saturn issues episode, and anybody that wants to know, what I really believe.
Oh,
What does he really believe? Yeah,
the
I think
iron
everyone
rules
wants
of
to know
Memes
that.
of Saturn. Cool.
I'm
Yeah,
excited.
no, but that sounds great, and I would love to do that.
I'm excited. All right, thank you so much,
Cool.
Saturn,
Yeah,
for joining
wow.
us. This has been the PAMU podcast episode.
I'm pretty sure it's 16. I think we just did 15 last week.
Okay.
It's the
I
next
haven't
episode,
uploaded it yet.
or it's coming up soon
Okay.
from whenever
Yeah.
we're recording.
One of
Well,
those.
Thank you for joining us, everyone.
Yeah.
And we'll
All right.
see you next week. Yeah.
Yeah.